Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching this. It's another week, it's bank holiday weekend. But as promised, every Monday we will drop a video. I didn't go to carnival, I literally went to gym and I've been at home just eating, doing my meditation, doing my personal development. It's literally that time. I'm trying to end the year as strong as possible. So yeah, it's literally just the last 3 months of the year. I'm just literally looking to lock in and be consistent with literally everything. So if you want to join me on that journey, you already know what to do. The link's going to be in the bio. I'm showing you exactly what we do and how we actually operate. So yeah, just follow along. So it's going to be a quick one. I'm just going to talk about gold and what we actually looked at last week before this move actually happened. So let's just pull this up. So as you can see here, again, it was like in the morning, we started looking at buys in around those areas, okay, 330 to 326. So we even made a breakdown video of that, explaining exactly why we're looking for those things. And then, yeah, as you can see from here, again, we updated things going into the afternoon again, 323 to 319, which is what I'm going to break down soon, is what actually kicked all of this off. So let's actually go into the charts. So again, was looking, and it's probably best if I go into replay mode. Let's do this. Let's go into replay mode over here, and then let's go into the 1 minute as well, and let's break this down. So, okay, so from here, so we already understood what was really happening in Asia session, which we also set a trade out for. Then we came into London, okay, already highlighted by my green box through here. Came into London, kind of started creating equal lows, killed off those lows with a liquidity grab, started going above, but we didn't actually break the London high. We just kept on going sideways, sideways, sideways. And then we broke the low through here again one more time. And then I started thinking from here, yeah, it's looking like we should start getting some buys. Again, we broke structure through here, which is one thing I definitely like to see. So if we just borrow this, okay, and brought this. So I was thinking, yeah, for sure, this is looking good. Okay, again, it's not the biggest liquidity wipe. I like when the bodies of the candles actually take out liquidity. If I just literally do this, okay, shift it into the line chart, you can see that technically never happened. Okay, so I wasn't confident of a buy through there. Okay, I always like and feel better when I know the bodies have been the one to taking out liquidity. So technically it was a liquidity grab, broke structure, but again, I prefer the body. So we didn't get that. So not a trade I'll be looking for. And then here, clearly you can see the bodies of these candles have definitely taken out liquidity. There's no doubt about that. Okay, so now what am I looking for? I'm looking for the same thing again. I'm looking for this breaker structure. Okay, I'm looking for price to break above the previous high. So let's just put this back to where it was. So I had 2 points of interest there. Okay, from here, I said this would be the ultimate one. This would be my favorite one if it actually breaks. But obviously, we've got this high here that actually touches this and then comes back down, but it does not go below here. So once it touches this supply, again, if this is revisiting this picture, once it touches the supply, does it go down to break structure again? Okay, it doesn't. Okay, so once I knew that, I'm like, cool. So this is a sign that price might want to actually go up because we're really taking liquidity from here. It doesn't really need to take no more. So we get the first bounce. Maybe I could have taken that trade, but too aggressive for my liking. Okay, we already marked out this area. Remember the 323, 319 area. So again, this whole area, okay, we had this whole area to 319, which was down here, slightly lower, as you can see through here. Okay, but for me, I just literally just concluded as this will be the point of interest from here. So once I understood that this could have potentially been an entry, okay, it went up, then we get a break of this one. Okay, you start rivaling this one through here. Okay, we create roughly equal highs. Okay, so again, we see these kind of things in the picture. Okay, when we start creating equal highs and then we bounce off the target again and then we find a break through it. So once we see that, we know we've actually got our pricing moving in the right direction. So what do you now wait for? You wait for the next rebound. Boom. And that's the one I was more confident in. So again, you see that makes equal highs. And then from there, you get a bounce. And that's the one I was more confident in. So again, boom, you could have got the first entry here. Like I said, through here. You could have got another one through here, but I was waiting for this little break. Let's just push this back into this break that I was looking for. So once we break this high, I'm more confident in entries through here now. So again, 20 pip, 24 pip stop. If you wanted to make it even tighter, you could have made a 20 pip, but sometimes I just like to give the charts a little bit of room, especially knowing how gold is. Okay, and then another thing that's creeping up, what do you notice? We're in our yellow box through here. So again, we had London session through here. Okay, so London session, and then my yellow box marks New York. So now we're in prime time New York trap time. Okay, so if you're not understanding none of this, again, it's all in my PDF. Again, link in the bio. So you're seeing all of this. Again, I've literally mapped out all of this for you. And on top of that, we've got the free group where you're literally getting signals day in, day out. Okay, like without fail. So on top of my liquidity, inducement trading PDF. You're also getting these signals. So again, link for both in the bio is you just literally follow this. So again, literally everything's mapped out. So again, like I already explained, we had sell side liquidity. Okay, didn't quite get the break, and then it comes down, starts playing around. Then we get the mini inducements start happening, minor breaker structures. Then you get your money transfer, and then price starts flying to look for buy side liquidity. So we see exactly that. Okay, we get a liquidity grab. Okay, boom, that happens. And then we get little minor breaks of structures, and then boom, this is where the money transfer ha officially happens, and we start kicking off from there. And then obviously the news just helped it. So as you already know, I always look for 10 to 1. So if we had a 24 pip stop, I'm going to look for 240 pips minimum, okay, to make my 10 to 1. So as you can see, 3 to 1 was roughly done around here. Okay, 3 to 1 was roughly done about here. So that's the 3 to 1 protocol, which is what I'll usually do. I'll take 50% of my lot size off the table. Okay, move my stops into profit and let the rest run. Okay, but by the time I even wanted to do that, price was already in this area. And then next thing I know, boom, we start flying up. So I don't have to take nothing off the table. When we get to 10 to 1, what I usually do is take 90% off the table, leave 10% running. But again, I just left it. Okay, I just left it. I was like, there's no need to try to stop a fast moving train. And as you can see, price just kept on shifting up. Okay, let's just go into the 5 minute. Price just kept on shifting up. So we was already looking at 10 to 1, which was just taking out the previous day's high, which worked out perfectly. And then from here, if you remember from last week where we had, let's go to the H1. Okay, last week we was looking at, firstly, I was looking at her price coming down to the H4 and then doing this big move, but we didn't want to do that apparently. And then we had our target at H1. So if we're hitting play now, you already know what the target is and what we're looking for. Let me just, oh yeah, it's done already. So again, this week as we open up, so I'm now looking at price coming into this H1. Okay, something really marked up a long time ago, whenever we did 1 week, 2 weeks ago, again in the previous video. So you're seeing all of that actually play out. So again, we're getting closer. For this week now, what I would expect, okay, what I said would expect, but it's gold. Okay, I mean, in an ideal world, because what we've just done, let me just delete all these risk reward ratios. These were kind of, I won't say failed trades, but just didn't make the big moves that we wanted them to. Okay, so in an ideal world, because now we have broken another high through here. Okay, we've broken another high through here. Okay, so again, it's your for the evil-eyed people, if you're spotting something. Okay, that I already mentioned. What am I looking for here? I'm looking for let's just do it as liquidity buy side. For the eagle eye people, for what I've mentioned about breaker structures and what I prefer. Okay, I mean on the smaller time frames, maybe. Okay, yeah, on a 30 minute we can see that has broken, so that's sufficient enough for me. Okay, but on a 1 hour, okay, we just did it with a wick, but on a 30 minute, you can see it actually broken with a candle. Okay, so that's sufficient enough for me. On a 1 minute, it didn't even do it down here. So that's why I was like, if it's not doing it in a 1 minute, there's no way I'm taking that. But I'm satisfied with that doing it on the 30 minute at least. Okay, so that's good. So we've got a break. Okay, meaning price should do what? We should retrace, but it's gold. So I already know what what gold does. Again, we've taken our liquidity from here, boom. Okay, if I just literally take away everything. Okay, we've taken our liquidity from here, boom. We've left the gap, left this candle, and then we've gone up. So naturally, we should see a retracement back into this area before we continue heading up to that H1, right? Okay, so that's again what we'd love to see. So again, price is broken above. Okay, so we're literally in a scenario right now where price is still floating. Then can we come back into our point of interest slash supply demand candle, sorry, and then head up again? So that's what I'd love to see for this. If that happens though, that's a different situation, right? So it's bank holiday weekend. I'm not surprised the price is just floating around there. Okay, so the volume is not really there. So I'm just like, cool. Tomorrow, can we see price head towards back these areas? Okay, so once we start seeing, I wouldn't be surprised if we see another break of this high through here. Okay, I won't be surprised if we see that and then we get our signature move. That's what I'll potentially expect for price to do what I'd like it to do, where we break above this high one more time. Oops. Did I set it the wrong thing? Oh, I didn't select the drawing tool. Okay, so break above there. Okay, do our signature move, fake it out, and then can we get a pullback into here? So that's what I would love to see for gold. If we were supposed to get something like that, that would be very, very much ideal. Okay. If that happens or not, that's a different situation. But yeah, in an ideal world, I'd love to see something like that where we can actually come back into this area and then start shifting off again. Okay, to head up into, let's go back into the H1. Okay, to head up into our H1 POI. Okay, so that would be the ideal situation. So if that happens or not, we just have to wait and see. Okay, price is just literally chilling around here right now. And like I said, it is gold. So I won't be surprised if price actually does something like this as well, where it just continues going up. and then who knows, maybe might hit H1 and then interestingly enough, starts coming for H4 and sell side liquidity that we marked out again some time ago. So again, very interesting situation. We just follow market price and structure right now, and then we see exactly what's going on. So that's literally it. That's all I'm gonna break down for gold right now. It's looking good. Okay, now we just start going between two POIs, H1 or H4. Which one do we get first? Okay, and then obviously the next one will be the target. So that's looking good right now. That's looking good right now. And again, like I said, actually all called out through our group right here. So if you're not in this, I'm not sure what you're waiting for. It's literally free. All you have to do is deposit into your trading account and do your thing. So yeah, that's that trade. So let's look at some other things that we've looked at over the course of the week. I'm just going to do all of these on H1, by the way. Okay, because yeah, I'm just showing you structure and where price should be heading. So again, following weeks, I mean, we've just been going sideways, but I also had this H1 marked out through here, and then this H1 POI marked out through here also. Okay, we came above buy side. I remember talking about this when I said buy side liquidity will happen. The only thing we didn't get was price coming back to tap us in to then take us down into this area. Okay, price just seems to be just kind of going down by itself without giving us that entry. But obviously, we can actually find new entries in and around this area. Okay, so we've already taken out this liquidity point here. Okay, gone below all of this and made new lows, kind of equal lows through here. If I just draw this out real quick. So we're getting equal lows all through here. Okay, so that's definitely something that's going to get clapped real soon and then falling down into the zone. So we're seeing all of that. And then, yeah, I'm just curious to see exactly if I could find an entry in around these areas to take it down into here. So, yeah, that's Bitcoin. Nothing more to say about that. I broke it down in a previous video quite well. US 30, okay, similar, where was looking at this buy side liquidity is now broken structure through here. Was thinking, can we get some sells in around this point? Okay, just didn't happen. And then obviously, again, on Thursday, okay, and Friday with the news, we also went out to do more buy side liquidity. So again, coming into this week, I'm just seeing a can price break below here. We might as well borrow this now. I might have to go into the smaller time frame to even let's go into the 2 hour. Okay, we've broken structure out here. I'm just wondering, can we break structure down here one more time to give us that clarification that it is going to truly fall down into the zone? And then we can start looking for some sell-offs potentially. Okay, but right now, boom, sky high. Again, not going to break this down even more. We've already done it on the previous week. NAS, okay, we had this build up. We said, I mean, I'm surprised that NAS actually drops rather than go up as well. Okay, I mean, we get the diverse pricing, but interesting that this actually went down. And then, I mean, yeah, we did get the push up on a Friday, but yeah, so we got the build up for that. Okay, I expected it to go kind of the other way around, but it happened nonetheless. So yeah, be curious to see exactly how this plays out. Okay, but I'll be curious to see, firstly, how price respects this supply zone through here. Okay, so what time frame is this? H4, perfect. I'll be curious to see how price respects this supply zone through here. And then obviously we've got this target right here. Okay, so this one will be curious. Let me just put it as a red. So that's an interesting one. I got nothing for that. Gold, we're looking at potential buys, but sells first. Okay, so that'll be an interesting one. Okay, see exactly how that plays off there. Okay, so yeah, interesting. Let me actually add an alert there as well. That one's gonna be interesting. Okay, so that's NAS, GBP USD. Again, last week we were saying about price potentially coming down to here. We started creeping, but again, about halfway through, just due to the news, as everything else, boom, that went up. Obviously, naturally expecting what DXY to do the opposite. So yeah, I mean, for this, I'm still with this where I'm saying price should come down. So we started making that journey on Friday. Okay, we're gonna make a pullback. Did we break these lows? Just with a wick here, 1 and 4 hour though, so maybe a smaller time frame. And then seeing can we continue that journey to the downside here, which naturally pushes what GU to the upside, EU to the upside, all that kind of stuff. So we spoke about this last week. So again, we are on course kind of. So those trend lines got taken out and then we push up. So we're looking for buy side liquidity on EU. Okay, so again, this might be interesting this week, seeing how price reacts in around here. Okay, this is that demand zone that will be very curious to see how price reacts around here. And then can we then take out buy side liquidity? Okay, that's what I'll be curious to see exactly how that plays out. GU, okay, we already kind of took up buy side liquidity, but then I'm thinking, can we head further up? So yeah, this one is in the middle of both right now, so nothing clean to say. And we're just below that as well. We didn't quite touch it. Yeah, this one, nothing clean to say right now, but this is looking good for a potential buy. Just mark that blue. Okay, so that's looking good for a potential buy. AUD we came back to entry. Okay, this has been the longest trade ever. I'm out of it now anyway. Okay, but I remember we marked this out. When was it? When did this tap in? The 1st of August. A whole, a whole month, basically. And we only shifted how far? 135 pips. I mean, it's not the worst in the world, but considering what we do on gold. Oh my God. So yeah, this but I mean with the DXY looking to go down, with the DXY looking to go down, I mean finally it might happen. I'm laughing because some forex players are so slow, man. And when you think about what gold does literally in an hour, like gold shifts like 100 and 200 and 300 pips in an hour. Like, I mean, this is obviously not a normal thing. This is obviously, I mean, price doesn't shift like this every day, but look, that does 540, let's say 550 pips in an hour. And then we've got AUD here since the 1st of August has only done 135 pips to like at its highest point. Crazy. That's now you know why we trade gold only. Okay, it's the most liquid pair. It makes sense. Okay, so GBP JPY. Again, another one that's been kind of stuck. We had buy side liquidity, took it out. I was looking for clean entries in and around here. Never came high enough. Okay, and then just been stuck here. But obviously, we wanted to come down into this H4 POI, and we still haven't got that. Price has just been chilling there, so not one to really sing home about. Yeah, it's just stuck sideways right now, but obviously there will be a breakout soon enough. So yeah, not nothing to go crazy about. But oh, I didn't notice this on Friday. I did not notice that on Friday. So I think from the previous week, when was this? This was 14th. Yeah, so the previous week, I marked out this 5 minute zone that we spoke about. And I said, can we come down into it or can we come lower into this H1 and then shift up just like that to then obviously target buy side liquidity? Okay, so that was the plan, but I also marked out this this 5 minute because we already done our signature move. Liquidity grab, boom, breaker structures, never came back. Create internal liquidity. Okay, as you can see, create this internal liquidity all through here. So we already knew what was going to happen. And then it did happen on Friday, which I did not spot because at 5 o'clock on a Friday, I'm not looking at the charts normal. And then, yeah, we start springing up from there, which will be interesting. But understanding what the DXY should do, which is still potentially come down, I'm not too sure exactly how that's going to play out. And it did happen on a Friday, which it shouldn't happen on a Friday. Okay, but I mean, technically, it makes sense though, because 20% retracement on a Friday. So, I mean, technically, this is what we expect on a Friday, right? So let's do sessions. So let's just make this bigger. Let's make this a 24. Okay, so technically on Friday, 20 to 30% weekly move to pull back, which was obviously this is during the week. And then boom, we made a big move. And then obviously on Friday, okay, we start kind of pulling back 20% to 30%. I mean, it wasn't that much really, but yeah, as you can see, some rebalancing to potentially happen. And then obviously tying inside with the DXY, we could potentially see that as well. So yeah, interesting one. But yeah, I'll keep that in mind, just that's happened. But I'll still like to see something like this, which coincides and ties in more with what I want to see for the dollar, with dollar dropping a little bit more. Not a little bit more, a lot more from there to there. Okay, but yeah, with USD JPY, can we see price dropping from there to there? So yeah, interesting one to watch. And then oil, okay, oil is just oil. Let's go into the H4 for this. So last week again was talking about price coming into the zone right here. Again, we got pretty close, but just didn't touch it, and then started shifting up. Again, that H1 POY stands as the point of interest, and then we also got the buy side liquidity above that as well. So these are the kind of things, and this is where I'm seeing price potentially head into. Okay, but I'm just not seeing clean price action to tap us into exactly where we want to be tapped into yet. So yeah, again, I'll see exactly how oil does work out. But right now, it is looking like it wants to go to the upside. Okay, I mean, there's some fundamental news around that as well, but let's not get into that. But yeah, can we get one more move to the downside? That would be ideal. And then giving us our signature move, that would be ideal for sure. Like, let's just do something like this. Boom, boom, tap into there, give us a breakout, boom, and then we head up into the H1. That would be the signature ideal move that I would love to see for this to play out. But cool. I'm gonna leave it as that. That's my weekly overview for what we already spoke about for the last week and what I'll potentially expect to see. So until next time, guys, peace out, man.